welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Blue Smoke Cigar. You know, I was telling you earlier about the sponsors who've been with us for so long. This is our oldest sponsor. We've been doing this 20 years. Blue Smoke Cigar, Mike Hicks and his family have been with us for 19 of those 20 years. If you are someone who enjoys a fine cigar, someone who finds them relaxing, head down to South Peters Road and Blue Smoke Cigar. Big walk-in humidor. If you're just looking to grab cigars, they got a great selection in the walk-in humidor. But if you want to be a member there, it's just a great place to be. Walk-in humidor, card tables, TVs, HD and 4K, Chuck. You ought to go down there and watch your games. It's a great, relaxing atmosphere in an official Caldwell Cigars Lounge. Longest tenured sponsor on the show. I thank them. I hope you'll get out there and thank them. Blue Smoke Cigar. All right. Quickly, the Pac-10, desperate for TV partners. They're desperate. They've agreed to start allowing basically they're doing the XFL. The Pac-12 is doing what the XFL and the USFL have been doing to gin up viewership. Nobody's watching the game, so sure, we'll drill a camera into the coach's head. Yeah. That's what the Pac-12 is doing. You're going to have in-game interviews with coaches, not at halftime, but like in-game, the stuff you see in basketball now. More cameras around the field, including more of these helicopter shots and drone shots and wire shots, things where you can't tell where the ball is on the field, lots of that. They're going to have mics on the players during warm-ups, that kind of stuff. Okay, that's kind of cool. Until one of them drops an F-bomb live on TV. But here's the thing. They're doing all this XFL, USFL thing because they have to. Should the SEC follow suit with some of this, all of this? Obviously, I'm not a big fan of this stuff. The pregame stuff, I'm cool with that. But I like to know where the ball is. I like a standard broadcast. Do you like in-game interviews, for example? Do you like this kind of stuff? Josh, you're the youngest man here. Right. What are you, Gen X?
Hanging by a thread. I would like to be at the first meeting where they tell Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, here is what's changing and what your new role will be. But no, if you want to add a little bit in terms of access pregame, but within the game, I like the game the way it is. I want basic camera shots where I know where I'm going to be able to watch the play. I'm going to be able to see what's happening. I don't need you to change it up. What you have to show me the game works now. A little pregame or halftime access is fine. They already do the halftime interviews, and the coaches hate it. So why do we need to add more that they're going to hate and not want to be a part of?
Yeah, I mean, imagine interrupting Nick Saban, during. How about that fumble, Coach? That's a bit much. The drone stuff that CBS did last year, I thought that was great because it was atmosphere stuff.
Yeah.
They weren't using it to shoot. Okay, how did they pick that interception off? How did they get that? Well, we don't know because we were looking at it through this camera shot on the drone and it was flying the wrong way. I don't mind it for ambiance and atmosphere, but Jimmy.
What have you learned from a coach during a halftime interview? We need to run the ball. We need to stop the run. We need to score more points.
Jeremy Pruitt was going to go get 25 new players.
Yeah, that's one of the few that I've seen. Or maybe Bruce Pearl's hugging somebody. But I just don't see an advantage to that. If they did anything, I would like to hear in-game interviews with players because they might say something that would be entertaining. Now, that's not going to happen. I wouldn't think that they would do it. But the rest of the stuff, I'm not a fan of.
And to me, it just shows how desperate the Pac-12 is.
Yes.
I mean, that's the whole point to me right there. SEC, if it's not broke, why fix it? I mean, what you're doing is working pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's why you do the players because the coaches don't say anything. Mm-hmm. But to me, some of those, I almost feel uncomfortable watching it. And at times, I don't know how genuine they are, even because they know they're mic'd up.
Right.
So,
yeah.
The pregame stuff, I agree with that. Different camera angles that keep you on the ball, but maybe enhance the experience. But other than that, I wouldn't go all the way in for the SEC.
Yeah, if you can offer transparency, like the replay process, that stuff, where fans feel like they are blocked or shielded from what's actually happening. Yeah. That, I think, could add value.
Yeah, discussing how they're doing, what they're deciding on and watching the replays, yeah.
Do the stuff with Lane Kiffin. This would be perfect for Kiffin. Let him do the Kiffin games with more interviews with him on the sideline. Give him his phone. Let him tweet during the game. He can stand there and shoot over the side of it. It is interesting. I called it the Pac-10 because I'm assuming they're going to go back to that moniker now that they're back to 10 teams.
Right.
Unless they add San Diego State and someone else, and who knows, it doesn't look like they're going to. But for the time being, I wonder if they're going to go back to Pac-10. I would assume they would, but I may be wrong. Never assume, because it only,
You might add the North Carolina schools.
But now here's what might be cool.
We don't have time.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Because I wanted to say this on the way out. Let's go ahead and put up the graphic if we could. This is Brud Gann, and he was a videographer for many years here at WATE. Ended his career as one of the best freelance cameramen in the country. Just a great, great guy. When I launched this show 20 years ago up in Seymour, Brud would help me out. When I had an empty camera, when I needed somebody to run a camera, he would drive up to Seymour, help me out, and most of the time I'd be like, he knew I didn't have the money to pay anybody, and he was like, just buy me a beer. Just an intelligent, witty, inquisitive, intellectually curious kind of guy. One of those guys that would, whenever you talked to him, it was an interesting conversation. You didn't know what it was going to be about. Brud passed away this past week, and I just wanted to send the condolences to his family and just say from me personally, and this is on behalf of a lot of the people who've worked with him here at WATE, and I started my career at WBIR, and I know his name got passed around with some of my WBIR friends this week. Just wanted to say that a lot of people in this community who knew Brud Gann think he's a terrific, terrific guy. He was a great guy, and he will be missed. One of the best guys I've ever worked with in this industry. So our condolences to the family of Brud Gann. We will see the rest of you here next Sunday. We'll be breaking down Tennessee's schedule. See you then.